Are you thinking about buying a home in Bello Lakes? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, the ugly, everything you need to know about buying and living in this Bello Lakes, Manvel, Texas community. Stay tuned, see you on the other side. Hi, my name is Lathan, and every week I'm helping buyers relocate to and throughout the greater city of Houston. So if you need to know anything about where to eat, sleep, live, play, hit me up morning, noon, or night. I'm your guy. If you need to hit me with a text, hit me with a call, shoot me a DM, all my social media, email, whatever you got to do, send a carrier pigeon. Any way that you need to get in touch with me, hit me up morning, noon, or night. I'm your guy. I would love to be able to assist you with your transition to or throughout the greater city of Houston and the surrounding suburbs. So today I am touring one of my favorite locations in the Manvel, Texas area, and that is Bello Lakes. We have 4 builders out here. You have Shia, which I think is the overall developer of this site. You have Perry Homes, Ashton Woods, and Weston, which round out basically some of my favorite builders out here. And I've actually started to really fall in love with the development out here. It's a smaller community. It's like 400 or 500 homes, so not a huge big community. You won't have to worry about construction going on forever, and I really love it. There's prices to basically hit almost any budget, but there's some pros and cons to living anywhere, right? And this is no exception. So in this video, I actually want to just kind of touch on some of the pros and some of the cons of living out here in Manvel, Texas, in the Bello Lakes community. So I kind of like to start with the cons, just because get the ugly out of the way, and then we can talk about some of the great things that actually go on in the Manvel, Texas area, in Bello Lakes. And the first con on my list is that, and I experienced it today, is traffic. Traffic is trash, right? And that's a theme that kind of goes on with my channel over and over again. And buying a home is really all about lifestyle, as far as what you want to see when you come home, what you want to be around, the amenities, everything that you want to be around, as well as how do you provide? How close are you to the thing that you need most to provide? And for me as a real estate agent, I often, kind of get pulled from my centralized location, and it's one of the reasons why I picked living central, is because I can kind of get to all directions within 30 to 45 minutes of a drive. And this is no different, right? This is about 20 or 25 miles south of Houston, and it took me every bit of about 45 minutes to get here, and that was no traffic. So I say all that to say, or that was minimal traffic. There wasn't a wreck, there wasn't anything catastrophic that was holding me up. That was just straight drive from where I am, just north of the loop. It took me all of 45 minutes, and then, like I said, that was light traffic, right? So I can only imagine if there was a wreck or something, if there was a major accident, if there was a lane closure, something like that. And right now I'm in their Jackson Cove Pavilion. It's right out here where they have this gorgeous pool. Across the street back there behind me is one of their lakes. It's just a really gorgeous vibe. But yeah, back to traffic. Traffic is bad, right? So you have to put that into perspective. If you don't live out here, or if you don't work out here and you're living out here, you have to realize that you're not in Houston, right? So if you have a lifestyle that causes you to be in Houston more times than not, this may be a problem for you, just because you're gonna have to deal with 288. And 288 has had some improvements. They've had some toll roads to be extended, some lanes are widening and things of that nature. So it's getting a little bit better than it was when I first moved here, but 288 can still be a nightmare in rush hour traffic, right? So traffic is probably my #1 con, just being so far away from the city. For me, as a city boy that has most of my work in the city, this would be a tough one for traffic for me. The next one, the next con is that the tax rate out here is awful. So I think the tax rate out here is close to 4, it's like 3.8. So to put that in perspective, most houses start out here around high 3s, almost 400,000. So just for simple math for me, let's just say it's a $400,000 house, right? So on a $400,000 house and you have a 4% tax rate, you're gonna spend $16,000 a year just on taxes. And so that means that every month you're going to spend over $1,000 for just taxes on your mortgage payment. And that's crazy. That's unheard of. For me being a city guy, the tax rate in most of Harris County is like 2.7 and under. It's definitely mostly under 3 in most of Harris County. So to be out here and to have the amenities, you're paying for the amenities, you're paying for the schools, you're paying for all these amazing things around you, right? To have this feeling of being safe, to have this nice pool, to have these nice lakes, you're paying for those amenities. And to me, I don't know, 4% or almost 4% may not be worth it to you. I know it's not worth it to me, even though these are gorgeous homes. And it's really tough just because, like I said, the starting price point for a lot of these homes is around, you know, $380 start for the most least expensive plan out here is like $380. So before you even get in your house, you already have $1,000 worth of a bill via your taxes, right? So the next con to me, and this is me being a biased city guy, is that you are in the burbs. You are for sure in the burbs. Now with that comes a peace and a quiet. There's lakes, there's your pool, there's your pavilion that I will never have in the city. I will absolutely never have this amount of beauty in the city. I will never have this much land in the city. I'll never have a house that is this big in the city. However, you are in the suburbs. So if your lifestyle is kind of like mine and my wife, where we like to go to restaurants, and we like to go and pick up some ice cream, and we like to go and hit up little bakeries, and we like to go and grab a little drink, and we like to hit the museum that's downtown or in the museum district. We like to do that kind of stuff with my daughter. You are very far away from that. It's not a quick, let me just hop on the interstate and get there in 10 to 15 minutes kind of vibe. You're really committing to being on the road, you know, 45, potentially 45 to an hour to get to all the things that you actually want to do, if that is your lifestyle and your lifestyle brings you closer to being in the city of Houston more than it would be out here. So it's something that you kind of have to weigh with any time you have a decision to really be out here in the suburbs and buying in the burbs, is that you are in the burbs, you're not in the city. And some people I know, some people when I moved here, a lot of people were from some of the suburbs, and so they're just used to living a lifestyle where you have to commute 45 minutes minimum, right? And that may be comfortable to you, but to me, in the lifestyle that I live, I would be miserable if I had a client that forced me to be in the Woodlands. If I lived out here, right, that would be 1.5 to 2 hour drive just to get from here to the Woodlands, right? Where if you're a little bit more centralized, you wouldn't really necessarily have that issue. So it's definitely something that you have to think about when you're making a decision to be out here. You're in the burbs, and you kind of have to understand that you're in the burbs, and things aren't necessarily going to be city focused, right? You're hoping that the infrastructure in Pearland is a little bit better. You're hoping that the infrastructure a little bit south in Alvin is a little bit better, right? You're hoping that the things around you, the neighboring communities around you, can fill the gaps of being in the city, because you are in fact very deep in the suburbs. The next thing, and this is probably one of the biggest cons for me as living in a city that often sees heavy rainfall and often sees flooding, is that you need basically 288 to get north of you. You basically need it. And 288 floods with almost every heavy rain. And if I remember to do so, I'll pull one from a recent heavy rain that we had. It wasn't even like anything crazy here. We just had hard rain, and 288 was shut down at certain points heading this way. So let's just think about that. Like, this is your only means of getting north to the city without cutting through, and if you can get to Pearland, you can get to like Alameda or 521 or one of those streets and ride you up through the city. But if 288 is your main means of transportation as an interstate to get north, and it's flooded whenever it rains heavily, which it happens to do here all the time, that's a place that you don't necessarily want to put yourself in. And I would feel uncomfortable living out here knowing that I need 288 to basically do almost anything, right, to get into the city. So that would make me very uncomfortable, and it happens more times than you would anticipate. With this being such a big city, so much infrastructure, so much money here in around the city and surrounding suburbs, and a major interstate system can just flood and basically shut the city down from anybody trying to go north or south on 288. And that's just crazy to me that that can still happen in the year 2021 and beyond, right? That's crazy to me. The next con to me, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of have trouble rating some neighborhoods or some locations as really great locations, is the fact that the price point is pretty high. So my wife and I, we do well in our real estate space. We're entrepreneurs, we make pretty decent money, but it would be a struggle for the average family to live out here. Like I said, the starting price point is basically $400,000, and on top of the $400,000 you have a really high tax rate. So this is not for everyone. And you know, as we kind of see the market be what it is right now in the greater city of Houston and surrounding suburbs, I'm not surprised that the price points are what they are. This is a really beautiful product. Everyone out here, all of these model homes are super gorgeous, super beautiful. If they'll let me record my style video, I'll take you through a couple of them, but it's really difficult to say that it's a realistic place for pretty much for most people, right? It's really difficult to say or to tell the average family that you're going to spend $1,000 in taxes just because your house starts at $400,000 and your tax rate is almost 4%. That's just a hard pill to swallow, not everybody can do. So to me, the barrier of entry is a little bit high for my liking, but the area is gorgeous. But it's expensive, it's pricey. It comes at a price tag to have the amenities, the lakes, the pools, the pavilion, all that stuff. It comes at a price point, right? So enough of the doom and gloom, let's get into some of the positives. So some of the positives of the neighborhood. There's tons of options. So like I showed you back behind me, there are 4 builders, Shia, Perry Homes, Ashton Woods, and Weston. All right, Shia has a few different catalogs from different size lots. Weston typically has a bigger lot price point. I think they start with the 55-foot sections out here. And I apologize for all, I guess I came on lawn day. Ashton Woods has a range that kind of goes throughout, and then Shia kind of has, Perry Homes is like a 55-footer section over here, and then Shia kind of has, as the main developer, I think they have the small, medium, and large size plans out here. And with that, you have about 30 or 40 different building and plan options. So you can go from as small as or as low as the 380s. I think Ashton Woods has the lowest plan right now at 380s as a base plan, and you can go up all the way to nearly $1 million, right? So you have the options based on the budget that you have to basically get on a lake, not be on a lake, be on a cul-de-sac. You can be on a street kind of tucked off. You can not have back neighbors. You can do whatever, basically whatever your heart's desires and your budget can afford out here. So it is really a great option, and you have tons of options. Like, you don't have to come out here and be forced to get the biggest plan on the block. You don't have to do it. You'll have nearly 30 or so options between all of the builders out here, and I just really think that that's super cool that you can come out here and basically pick and customize from so many people, and almost everybody out here right now is still allowing you to build from the ground up. So they're not forcing you to buy a quick move-in home. You can basically pick your plot and still build right now, which has been kind of a change up in the Houston and greater surrounding suburbs market. With the demand being so high, a lot of people are forcing you to buy basically quick inventory, and out here you can still build and design from the ground up. The second pro to me, as someone that sees new construction all the time, is that this is a smaller community. So it's like between 400 and 500 homes. So what you know with that is that you're not going to be out here for years and years and years and years of development, and you're going to get to realizing your appreciation and values a lot sooner because the community isn't huge. I've been in a couple communities out here recently that were like 2,000 or 3,000 homes, and so that's looking like, you know, the next 5, 7 to 10 years of building for that development. Over here you probably got 2 or 3 years, and then you should be basically tapped out on all of development over here, and you'll start to really see your values and your equity and your appreciation grow at a lot faster rate, because you're not basically waiting on your same model to be brand new to basically undercut the values of your home. So small community, definitely a huge plus when you're coming out to a suburb community. That's one of the things that I preach. Although I love new construction, I'm pro new construction, you have to kind of have a patience about new construction, because you don't really know what your values are going to be until everything is basically done being built, and then you have someone that is your year and your plan and your equal finishes are older to sell first to really know what your values are. And they can kind of be skewed when you still have a builder building your plan brand new. So it can kind of be misleading to know what your actual values are. The next thing, like I kind of touched on before, are the amenities. So out here you have this gorgeous pool, crystal blue, super clean, hot tub, soaker tub. You got the pavilion, you got the lakes and the walking trail, you got the workout equipment around the walking trail, and it's just really quiet and really peaceful. There's a lot of green space, a lot of space for kids, a lot of space for animals. You just have a lot of space. And then just within the houses themselves, you have nice sized backyards, because a lot of these locations are actually 50-foot plus sections, or 50-foot plus lots. So you're gonna feel like you have a really nice amount of space around your home to kind of have that backyard owner's retreat. So I really think that the amenities of being out here are just gorgeous. You got a nice play area for the kids behind me. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. But it's really just a really gorgeous community. And then the overall amenities of things that's close to you. You're like 2 red lights from Pearland. Pearland has shopping, eateries, groceries, all the things that you would actually need. So even though things aren't necessarily super close to you and like a direct path to you, you're close to so much stuff to where the amenity packages that you can get for just getting in an area right here like this, brand new, you almost can't beat that with a stick, right? The next part, and this is probably more important for resale as well as for families right now that have kids that are in the school age, is that you're tied to Alvin ISD. So that's not my rating. That's not my opinion. I'll have a link to Niche so you can actually look at what schools are rated out here, but schools out here are super solid. So although you are gonna pay a premium and you're gonna pay higher taxes and all that stuff, even though things are gonna be more expensive, one thing that you don't have to worry about as a parent or a potential person wanting to have children in the future is that you're gonna have to also pay for private school. That's something that, as a homeowner in the city, I live in the Independence Heights area, is not the greatest. It's transitioning, and I can see the greatness that is coming towards that area. Is one of the reasons why I bought it. But if we were on the opposite side of the street than we are right now, we would be having a whole different conversation. Now, we actually bought, because we were smarter, on the side that was tied to the good schools in my area. However, not everybody is so lucky. For all the other townhomes on the other side of the street than I am, they got tied to a not so great school. So private school has to be, or the transfer portal has to be on their priority list, just to be able to live where they wanted to live and also get their kids to have a decent education. But out here, and one of the beautiful things about being in the suburbs in general is that you typically, around the city of Houston and the surrounding suburbs of Houston, don't have to worry about education, right? So Manvel, Pearland, Woodlands, Cypress, all of those great communities tend to have super great public schools. So this is no different. Schools are great out here, so that's one thing that you can check off of your list if you're worried about that, or if you're thinking about having kids, or even if you're not thinking about having kids, you want to have great value. That's a great selling point when you go to buy your next home, is that the schools are great. And kind of to wrap it all up, like I touched on a little bit before, is that the location is super great. So if you have a lifestyle that is built to be out south of Houston, then this is an amazing location. It's not that far from Sugarland. You know, one more block down and you can go towards Arcola. Not too far from here, we can get to Meridiana. Just north of us is the Pomona community. Just north of us as well is the Rodeo Palm. So if you want to be somewhere in South Houston and that's kind of your vibe and that's what your lifestyle is, Pearland's not that far from us, right? So everything is very close if your lifestyle leads you to be south of Houston. If you need to go north, it's a no-go. But if you're trying to be south and all you need to be is south, then this is one of the best locations and the prettiest locations, and I would say probably one of the most bangs for your buck that you can get south of Houston. So much value, super gorgeous. I think the values of these, with how this look and just kind of where they're starting right now, in a couple years these are going to be worth a lot of money, and I would not be shocked if these values just shoot up as soon as the last house is done. So that was the video today. Del Bello Lakes in Manvel, Texas. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's worth it. I think the price is a little bit steep for me, and it's a little bit far out for me. But what do you think? Is it a great value for you? Is it something that you're looking into? If you have any questions at all, feel free to shoot me with a text, hit me with a call, hit me with a DM, send a carrier pigeon, email me, hit me with the comments. And also, by the way, like and subscribe. You know, I'm doing these kind of videos every week, giving my opinion about what's going on in the greater city of Houston and surrounding suburbs, and I'm here to help you out in any way that I can. I look forward to hearing from you. This is Lathan again, and I hope you have a great day. See you soon.